Hi, Mr. Carlton here again. I'm going to make a quick list of my honorable mentions. These are the albums that came out in 2012 that I enjoyed a lot, and for one reason or another just didn't make it to my top 10. Alright, let's get rolling. Right here, Tame Impala, Lonerism. You know, I didn't really listen to Inner Speaker. A lot of people told me to. This is my first real glimpse at the band, and you gotta say I was pretty impressed, you know, from a songwriting perspective as well as a production perspective. It has like this real 70s rock feel. You can tell the guy's influenced by the Beatles, you know, maybe some Rolling Stones influences here and there, you know, but there's also some dance electronic music influence here that really makes it stand out. You guys gotta check it out. Tame Impala, Lonerism. One of my favorite bands, you know, from when I was younger, you know, back in the junior high school days, the Shins, Port of Morrow. You know, James Mercer is the only original member who made it onto this thing. It's produced by Greg Kurstin, who's, you know, part of the Bird and the Bee. He produced that Foster the People, some of those tracks. So the guy's got production skills. James Mercer has, you know, songwriting chops. You know, overall, it's just it's a really good album. You know, some songs maybe stuck out a little bit more for me. You know, there were moments on here where it was like, is this the Shins or is this Broken Bells? But, you know, overall I thought it was a good album. You know, songs like Simple Song, The Rifle Spiral, those are great tracks. You guys gotta check out the Shins, put them around, especially if you're a fan of the Shins. Next up, I think girlfriend's gonna be mad at me for not putting this on my top 10. Jack White, Blunderbuss. You know what? It's a Jack White album. You can't say anything wrong about it, really. Stylistically, I might be getting a little bit tired. You know, some of the elements of this thing are like, okay, we get it, it's Jack White. He's such a perfectionist, and it shows on this album. I love the production on this thing. Has like this real blues rock feel to it. You know, if you're a fan of the Black Keys or the White Stripes, you would probably really enjoy this thing. I do recognize and appreciate the fact that Jack White is, you know, still focusing on songwriting in a world where a lot of bands don't, you know, appreciate that type of stuff anymore. So, Jack White, check it out. These next two, you know, were on my top 10 list at, you know, any given point, but you know, stuff moves around as the year goes on. So right here I have Shrines by Purity Ring. A lot of these songs we heard, you know, in 2011, and you know, the new batch of songs are really good that, you know, that make up this entire LP. If I have one complaint, it might be a little too repetitive. You know, the trap hats and the, you know, the airy vocals do get a little tiring, you know, as time goes on, as you listen to this thing. However, it is an interesting pop record. If you like the mainstream KDWB music, you would appreciate this thing. You know, it has they have a good pop sensibility, this group. So you guys should check out Purity Ring, Shrines.
Music Tapes, Mary's Voice.
Music Tapes, Julian Keister, from the Elephant Six Collective. He played the saw on that in the Aeroplane Over the Sea, which is one of my favorite albums of all time. You know, this is his solo project. He's still making music, you know, 10, 20 years later after being in that group. He recorded this thing in like an abandoned carnival tent. This thing just has such a personality behind it when you listen to it, you know? It has like this kind of carnival-esque feel, circus, you know, gypsy type feel that Julian Keister has always kind of emitted, you know, when you see him live in person. But you know, songwriting-wise, you know, I like this thing a lot. This might be one of the strongest post-2000 Elephant Six Collective release that I've listened to anyway. Alright, the next three I don't have a physical copy of to show you guys. They're all hip-hop albums though. I'll just put a picture here or something. I'll just go over here or something, put them right here or something. You got Cruel Summer by Good Music. So this thing was, you know, really unexpected for me. I didn't really know they were going to release this, but, you know, as the single started flowing, as we started, you know, hearing more about this thing, you know, my expectations rose a little bit. I was a little let down by a few tracks, but that being said, it's a great mainstream hip-hop album. You know, songs like The Morning, Mercy, obviously, you got Jay-Z on here, you got Pusha T, you got Kanye West, you got R. Kelly, you got Common. You know, I don't know what more you want. You got Kid Cudi. You guys should check that out. If you like any of those guys, check this thing out. It's really good. Another one that came out of nowhere for me. This guy opened up for Death Grips, so I, of course, downloaded his new mixtape. Mykki Blanco, Cosmic Angel, Illuminati Princess. The beats on this thing really stand out for me, as you know, as well as Mykki Blanco has such a personality behind his voice. You know when you're listening to a Mykki Blanco track. Songs like Kingpinnin' on here, Hayes Boogie Life, obviously, Riot, just great tracks. Album kind of hits a sour note for me near the end of the album when all of a sudden his voice is raised up like 2 pitches for the last 3 songs. I guess that kind of is supposed to symbolize his transformation into this mutant, that has like this mutant concept running throughout the entire mixtape, but got a little stale there near the end. I don't like listening to high-pitched voices unless it's battle. And then lastly, my final honorable mention, the band's second release to come out in 2012. I guess you can call it a release, but No Love, Deep Web by Death Grips. There's 2 album covers. I'm going to put the one that's more acceptable to put on this video. Don't look up the other one. Death Grips, for people who don't know, they're like this hip-hop outfit from Sacramento, California, but they get just as much influence from metal, noise rock, electronic music as they do from hip-hop. I guess they're just really labeled as hip-hop because of MC Wright's delivery. Compared to the Money Store, No Love Deep Web is completely minimalistic, hard-hitting, definitely not as catchy as the Money Store, not as inviting either. I guess that's my only complaint about the thing, really. Overall, there's a lot of tracks on here that, still were a little catchy, but yeah, it's definitely something that you guys should check out if you like more abrasive, loud music. Also, you have the fact that they released the album themselves without, consulting their label. So there's a whole backstory behind it that's very interesting. You guys check all that out. You can Google it. Anyway, yeah, that's my honorable mentions. My top 10 albums of 2012 should be coming out soon. Hopefully before the end of the year. I got it all in here. It's all in here right now. So I'm not worried about it. What were your honorable mentions? What albums did you enjoy that didn't really just make it on your, your end of the year list? Does anybody else care about this? I don't think so. Alright. Chips.